Sup guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here, continuing my watch of Dorohedoro. So, really looking forward to this one. This has been one of my delights of this season. I'm reading the manga as well, and I gotta say, I really like the entire setting and stuff, the aesthetics, the characters, so on and so forth. It is very compelling to me. And so I want to watch through the episode, and also, since I'm reading along with the manga, get through the manga as well. So really looking forward to this one. And in fact, in this episode, I do believe we're going to learn a little bit more about both Kaiman's and Nikaido's past. I don't think I mentioned this in the last episode, but we're probably going to see in this episode they sort of mixed around the pacing a little bit from the manga to, I guess, make it flow better. But we're probably going to get through get through the part where Shin goes back to the boss, and they discuss the different characteristics of Kaiman and Nikaido and start investigating them, right? So hopefully we will get some information in that regard. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Ah, there we go. Oh, actually, they cut out some of the flare parts. So they actually started off meeting in a restaurant. Well, actually not a restaurant, more like a dealership for the things they're riding on. By the way, those are not motorcycles, those are brooms. They can actually sweep as well. Because they're sorcerers. They need to fly on brooms. The opening. And yeah, like I was mentioning last episode, as a sort of spoiler, so N's expression sort of, I guess you can't really tell from his expression, but he sort of like froze a little bit once he heard about the cross marks and whatnot. So he definitely knows something. He has some suspicions, right? Also, like I said, they sort of cut out some more world fluff, I guess you could say, in terms of the worlds of the sorcerers. I mean, they live in a sort of high society, right? Even though it still looks kind of weird, but it's definitely like high class society. So N was originally in a dealership and basically looking at the transportation there, which, like I said, is not a motorbike, but a broom. I mean, yeah, it's not really important, but it's just some nice flair for the world and whatnot. And that's why I like to look through the manga as well, because these are stuff that are cut out that I find interesting. Yes. All right. Literally a turkey. That's your mask? Noi? Hmm. Oh. That's pretty convenient. Gonna be Noi or Ebisu. Ah, Noi. Rust deck with the source. Huh. So they're also named by their masks. He has a turkey mask, so he's named Turkey. Shin has a heart mask, so he's named Shin, something like that. Okay, now I'm hungry. Huh? Oh. Holy crap. Hmm. Huh. I thought he actually knew something. Okay, this is interesting. Wow. They can do that? Smell like a zombie. Was she actually turned back? Send the bell to end. Is that Ebisu's normal personality? Okay, where's he going now? Oh yeah, come to think of it, Ebisu has a mask. So that means she's actually one of the high level members of this society. This is something they haven't fully explained yet, but those with masks are the top dogs of even this this society. No, this is also a masked guy. What are you doing, Ebisu? Oh. Oh. Man. Poor Ebisu. She's... I mean, Noi can probably fix them up. Punch first. This is just a doll, right? Ooh. Duck state. Oh. Really? You guys are scared of this? Huh.
あらあら、口の中の男はすでに死んでいたのか。結局何もわからんかったじゃねえか、北西。
この首、お前のカバンに入れといて。
So sort of how he is like right now. That's interesting.
お前ら、会場に
Attend the dance.
話せん？
一体どういうパーティーなんだ？入ればわかる。
Yeesh.
これは死体？なんちゅう悪戦！
このための花線かよ。せっかくただ飯を期待してたのによ。何を言う。飯はあるぞ。好きなだけ食え。このパーティーは一度開かれ、参加者は皆死体を持ってやれやれ。
BYOC. Bring your own corpse.
BGM はなんだ？この黒い天井から音が。
Yeesh.
ハエだ。これからここに命を与える魔法使いが来て、これらの死体を生き返らせる。死体についてる箱は奴への贈り物だ。
そいつなら生首を生き返らせることができるってわけですね、先輩。
ああ。
You only need a head? Wow.
俺はエビスじゃないか。一緒にいるのは
エビスはこのパーティーに来たことあるんだろ？
ああ。過去の招待客のリストにエビスの名があった。何か役に立つかもと。
Did she like forget her memories or something?
主役の登場だ。あんなちんけな奴らが？始まるぞ。
Ew.
魔法使いの頭の中には小さい腫瘍がある。それは悪魔の形をしていて、俺たちの命を表している。
Huh.
白い煙。
Ooh.
ちっちゃい悪魔。
And then they revive? Wow.
死体が生き返った。
素晴らしい。さあ、二人とも仕事だぞ。仕事？ここに来た本当の目的は何なんだよ。彼女を俺のパートナーにする。なんだって？俺は長年自分のパートナーにふさわしい魔法使いを探し求めてきた。はあ。で、ようやく見つけたってわけ。
Partner.
まったく大げさな男だぜ。
本当は時を操る魔法使いを探していたんだが。なんだエビス。
何？トイレ？一人で行ってこいよ。
シン、ノイ、お前らはこれから男の方を消すんだ。ぶっ殺してどこかに捨ててこい。お嬢ちゃん、お嬢ちゃん、風船だよ。ほら、おいでおいで、早く早く。
This is the one who knew about ABC before, right?
しばしご観覧を。奴らを追うぞ。久しぶりだな、エビス。驚いたぜ。お前がエンと一緒にいるなんてな。一体何をしようとしてるんだ。ああ、そうだ。いい粉があるんだ。久しぶりだろ。試してみろよ。内緒だがこのパーティーの主催者もよ、俺たちの客なんだぜ。
Huh. He has the cross on his eyes as well. Okay. Well, someone's very, very dead. Yeah.
私の魔法だけじゃこいつをコントロールできない。十字目の男は黒い粉をたくさん持ってきてくれた。
ああ、早く粉を飲め。まだ半分も生き返らせてないぞ。あの女はエンさんのパートナーになる。諦めろ。
Okay, I guess that's sort of like an enhancement.
久しぶりにコンビネーションが披露できそうな相手だぜ。
いつでもいいですよ。
Ooh. Oh, I see. Don't need to worry about. Don't
死んだが
need to worry about getting hit
あったわ
with her ability.
お前は今日から俺のパートナーになるのだ。ん黒い粉。
Ooh.
こいつまで粉を使っていたと。魔法使いの恥さらしめ。んこれはあの男が使った黒い粉は一時的に魔力を上げる薬で
Right.
依存性があるんだ。
Didn't Ebisu just use it?
そんなもんなんで使うんです？
クズにはこういうもんが必要なのよ。お、エンさん、彼女はうまく。なんだその動物は。こいつが命を与える魔法使いだ。あの女はドレスの下にこいつを隠していたんだ。
にゃにゃ
いやー、これがエンさんのことな。いやいや、そういう。
先輩、こいつも大好きだよ。エビス、どこ行ってたんだ？
そこがトイレで、あっちがご飯皿でしゅよ。
しんち
ああ、これはまたすげえ小屋作ったな。
おお、
ボス金あるすごく
マスクは悪魔に作ってもらったのだ。いいな。
藤田嫉妬するマジ
Yeah, Fujita doesn't have a mask yet.
二階堂のことは何か分かったのか。ああ、調べた。やつは子供の頃にホールに渡ったらしい。
Oh.
ボスクソ勝たす
だが、どんな魔法を使うかまでは分からなかった。子供だったためか、あまり情報がない。じゃあ、トカゲ男に魔法をかけたのは二階堂という可能性もあるな。まあ、こいつの魔法で生首を生き返らせれば、そのあたりのこともわかるかもしれない。ついでに俺がうっかり腐らせてしまった貴重なキノコも蘇らせてもらうのだ。まるで生首がついでみたいだな。
ボス、エビスが動物の名前を考えてきました。
リスト渡すボス感
Is this Ebisu's
用の名前
normal personality? Or is she, like, because being dead and revived, a little whacked in the head?
ビラビラが似てるだろ。
ビラビラリン
勝手にしてくれ。
ビラビラ
だいぶ寒くなってきたな。大晦日に付き合わせて悪いな。
これから訪ねる博士ってどんなやつなんだ？
先生の友人で魔法使い研究の第一人者らしいぜ。
ああ、気難しいじいさんって感じかな。
Probably.
何の反応もないな。
鍵が開いてるぞ。
博士、研究用の魔法使いの死体をお届けに上がりました。
あ、真っ暗だな。
Hakase would be better translated to professor, wouldn't it?
魔法使いのことをいろいろ教えてもらおうと思ってたのにな。最近本当に魔法使いが減っただろう。ホールは平和だが俺は困るぜ。魔法使いの世界に行けたらな。お前はどうする？もし奴らの世界へ行くことができたら、もちろん俺と一緒に行くだろう。なんだよ、まさか怖いのか？
ああ、本当に怖い。
大丈夫、俺が守ってやるぜ。二階堂。
Hmm. So Kaiman really doesn't suspect anything. Alright.
魔法使いの標本だ。
まさに血塗られたマッドドクターの研究室だな。
見ろ、私たちが殺した魔法使いのマスクだ。
誰かそこにいるのかね？
隣の部屋だ。
隣の部屋なんてねえぞ。
そうか、この屋敷全体が魔法のせいで歪んでいるんだ。魔法使いの死体の中に蓄えられていた煙が
can do something like that. Okay.
ダメだ。博士もいねえ。腹も減った。このままじゃもう死んじまう。
ここは台所だ。
やった。なんか食おうぜ。
何作ろうか。
餃子。
そうだ。
They should go into somebody else's house and use their kitchen? Okay.
明けましておめでとうございます。
Sake as well? Holy crap.
味わってくれよ。
数の子うめえ。二階堂。前からずっと言おうと思ってたんだけど、友達になってくれてありがとうな。
バカかお前。急に何言ってんだ。
どんなことがあっても俺の友達でいてくれよな。
何を今さら。当たり前だろ。
Hmm.
カイマン、私もお前に言わなきゃいけないことが。
ユキだ。
Trying to. Hey! There's the.
この伊達巻きいただいてもいいかね。
どうぞ。
いける。
お前誰だ。
Mr. Prophet.
春日部博士。この屋敷で魔法使いの研究をしているんだよ。
なんだって。
I mean, who else could he be?
君たちのことはバウ
Although he is rather young.
博士って子供だったのか。
私は魔法使いの練習台で子供にされていたんだ。
Oh.
本当は60歳くらいだよ。なんか得しちゃった。
ずっとこの迷路屋敷をさまよってたんですか。
まさか自分の家で迷ったりしないよ。私はずっと大掃除してたんだ。
This is Sorcerer's Dust.
ほら、大掃除の甲斐あって屋敷も正常になっただろ。
ほう。本当だ。
カイマン君、
あ。
君にいいものを見せてあげるよ。それはこのホールと彼らの世界をつなぐ唯一のもの。私はそれを科学的に研究し、ついに再現す
The
る。
door. Hmm.
でも、君に試す覚悟があるかな。魔法使いの死肉と骨で作ったドアだ。
That is metal.
彼らの世界がある。
Alright. Kind of a fun episode, but still. I mean, I like it. Anyways, talk to you guys later. Okay, so in episode 4 of Dorohedoro, we end up with honestly more questions than answers more than anything else, but it actually pushed the pace along. So this actually adapted 3 different chapters, I believe, from the original manga, and it actually skipped a chapter as well. Even though, to be fair, that the skipped chapter doesn't really advance the story that much. It's sort of like a side note. The only important thing that came out of that skip chapter was basically we saw Nikaido's mask, former mask. So yes, she was actually a masked sorcerer as well, which means that she is of the top elite of even the sorcerers. Which I guess could be fairly easy to figure out considering, you know, her talent and abilities, right? But I guess it is some nice confirmation. And basically the entire setup was Kaiman was looking for it, but didn't really Kaiman was looking for Nikaido, so stumbled upon her mask, but didn't really notice that her mask was there. So, just a kind of a side note. Doesn't really affect the story at all. What else information was talked about in the manga and not mentioned in the anime? So, we do see them, you know, and the others sort of going to the party, crashing the party, if you will. They did mention that within the sorcery world, any powers that deal with, for instance, time or healing or reviving, they're actually kind of rare, right? So I guess you could say that, you know, their abilities are mostly used for offensive purposes or more with destructive powers, but having regenerative powers is actually quite rare there. So that's why En wanted that girl to be his partner. And it also talks about how Noi's ability, you know, being able to heal others, that is actually quite rare as well. Not really sure if that has any bearing on anything, but I guess it's just some trivia or world system, kind of knowledge that is nice to know. And oh, by the way, it is confirmed that Ebisu is not right in her head right now. She's still, I guess, sort of healing up her brain. So she is, acting quite loony, right? But that is not her former self. That's not how she usually acts. And it's actually kind of funny to me as well, how she's basically running around and, basically getting killed again and again, or getting to compromising situations. But I guess she's sort of a running gag at this point, her and Fujita. Or was it Fujitsu? Fujitsu? Yeah. But yeah, in the scene where she was actually killed by Kaiman's, the sorcerer within Kaiman, that puppet dude, right? The puppet that they made here. It was actually much more gruesome than was shown within the anime. Like, her guts were being ripped out and whatnot. She died there, right? She died there. But of course, Noi being on the scene was able to put her back together again. So, yeah, those are just some stuff from the manga that the anime didn't really mention, right? And well, I don't know. There's not really that much else to say for right now. It's more of I can't wait to get to the next episode, because apparently they get a door now, and it's possible that they're going to be bringing the fight to the sorcerers instead. So we're actually going to see Kaiman and Nikaido back in the sorcerers world. Now that would be fun. And I say back because the situation of Kaiman, I feel like he just might be a sorcerer as well, right? We know that he was turned into this by some other sorcerer, but I don't know. It's possible that the guy within him is actually him, right? That seems to be a pretty good guess at this point. And of course, Nikaido was already a former sorcerer, a masked one at that, even though she left at a early age, right? I also really like how the story is progressing with En and Shin and Noi and the others as well. They don't really just seem like the antagonists. They actually seem like a part of the story as well in terms of solving this mystery, and particularly En, right? Originally he was like this big boss character, mob boss, who's setting out hitman to fight against Kaiman and Nikaido, but now we also see him in some pretty funny situations. And so on and so forth, and I don't know, it just makes him more human in a sort of way, and it's possible that he could be actually on the protagonist side as well. We don't know, right? We at least know that he and the other elite, I guess you could say, do have their own code of honor, right? Earlier on, a few episodes back, they were talking about not using guns because that's undignified of them as sorcerers, and also now in this episode we see that they reject using any kind of enhancement drugs because they also don't feel that is something they should do. And speaking of the enhancement drugs, actually one thing I noticed was the guy that gave Ebisu the black powder, right? He actually had a cross on his eyes as well, the same as the sorcerer within Kaiman's body. So, are they actually related somehow? Don't really know, but that is something to, I guess, keep an eye on as well. It could be possible that, because it's still not entirely sure who that sorcerer is, right? He's definitely a weird fellow. He wears shoddy clothes, but he goes to high-end dining places, but he lives at a rather rundown place as well, a rather shoddy place as well. So, hard to say. But anyways, I am looking forward to Nikaido and Kaiman eventually getting back to the sorcerer's world and seeing what just crops up there, right? Probably another thing that's going to be important is the hedge that was brought back. En is going to try to resurrect it in a way, and so perhaps that's also going to cause some complications, right? In fact, I would even venture a guess, like just putting it out there right now, because I feel like him residing, that sorcerer residing within Kaiman's body and then also being restricted, that kind of might be how should I say it? That kind of be sort of conflicting with itself. So I feel like with the end of this episode, where they actually have the door where they can go to the sorcerer's world, it might be a case where they eventually end up in En's garden and whatnot, and do see that head. And and maybe the head is just revived at that moment, and then things start getting crazy. I could foresee something like that coming, and I can't wait. It's actually really hard for me to not continue to read ahead with the manga because, you know, if I wasn't doing this reaction, I'd probably be already finished with the manga at this point. But yeah, trudging along for you guys. So, anyways, that's my review of Dorohedoro episode 4. See you guys next week. Bye bye.